You talked about Lewis smoother, right? What is smoothing exactly? If you were to explain it to a layman, why is it even called so?
Okay, smoothing, and the prime example in forecasting is really exponential smoothing. Exponential smoothing is, yeah, as I said, prime example of smoothing. You typically you have a forecast for tomorrow's observations, whatever that might be, and perhaps you're forecasting 10, you actually observe 12. And now you want to update your forecast for the day after. So you just observed something that was a little higher than what you had forecast for tomorrow. And so you'll adjust your forecast up a little and you say, okay, let's pick something like 10.5. So you adjust a little into the direction of what you actually observed. So now your forecast becomes 10.5. If you again observe 12, then you adjust a little more, perhaps to 11 or something like that. And what that means is that since you're iteratively adjusting your forecast, once you do the math, it turns out that each observation has an impact on your forecast, and the observations have a weight that decays exponentially. So the most recent observations has the highest weights, and the most distant observations have the lowest weights, and that's this exponential decay in weights, that what they call it exponential smoothing. And it's smoothing because it smooths out the variability in the time series. So even if it juggles up and down, your forecast will not react extremely quickly to the time series, but be smoother than the time series itself. And that's essentially exponential smoothing or simple exponential smoothing, because there's also variations on that, where you can also use a trend component and or a seasonal component. And then the philosophy is always the same. You have a forecast that is perhaps an addition of multiple components like level, season, trend. You have a new observation and you update your components, level, trend, seasonality, by taking the difference between the forecast and the actual observation and essentially distributing that among these different components. And so you smooth these components separately and forecast them out and then recombine them. And there's an entire zoo of exponential smoothing methods. You also can use something like multiplicative trends or multiplicative seasonalities. You can now use all kinds of errors. And that's a very established technique that I personally like very much because it's so simple. You can explain it to people and it's actually surprisingly effective.